dream. I love the way you 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 dream.
Hi, this is Bonnie Tritell of the World Legacy Project here with Malcolm Watson. Malcolm is our Living Legacy in the Art, Education, and Humanity Cornerstone for 2009. A living legacy is someone who is consciously creating a legacy for people today and for future generations. And we have Malcolm here in our spotlight to talk about his living legacy. Hi Malcolm, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, and it's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Let's talk a bit about how you got started. I think you told me you were 5.
Yes, I was indeed. My uncle, who actually was a professional violinist with one of the symphonies, gave me this tiny little violin. It was amazingly tiny. And I just knew the moment I had this violin, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a violinist. And it's funny, actually, because I also had along with that the thought of I wasn't just going to play violin. I was going to be a great violinist. That's what I was going to do. But it wasn't until I was 7 that we could get a teacher for me, because back then they had the reality that any younger, you weren't up for being able to learn. So I had lessons at 7, and then at the age of about 10 and a half, 11, I won a scholarship to a music school for like young talented kids. And I was there until I was 15. And then at the age of 15, I won a full scholarship to the Royal Academy of Music in London. where I started at 16, and I studied there until I was 20.
That's great. I know that you also got a lot into the pop scene for a while after the Royal Academy.
Yeah, I did. It was, to be honest, I always found the classical scene a bit too serious, you know. I always wanted to be a jazz violinist when I was at the Royal Academy, but back then, and now they've got a great jazz department, but back then it was like if you said the word jazz, you know, it was like, oh, that's not music. But I always had a fascination, you know, for rock and roll and jazz. So when I left the Royal Academy, I did a bit of work in, you know, a bit of symphony work and stuff like that. Then I met this American guy who played 12-string guitar, and we put some music together, and bang, before you knew it where it was, we were on radio. Then we signed a contract with CBS and put out an album, and there I was into the pop world.
So you were in the pop scene for quite a while, and then you took a break from music to pursue other things. What brought you back to music?
Well, this is going to sound a bit strange, you know, but it was actually a pack of cigarettes, would you believe? It was, I shall always remember the day. It was 1990, and I just bought this beautiful little house in Boulder, but I was almost out of cash, and I'd paid off the first mortgage, and then I went, what am I going to do now? Perhaps I'll go back into industry. And I'd worked in the oil industry for a while. That's one of the things I'd done as an executive. But I was going, no, I really don't want to do that. But I got up this Saturday morning, 1st of June 1990, and I went, I want to smoke. And I didn't have any cash, so I went, well, let's go down to the Pearl Street Mall, the walking mall, and get my violin out and play a few pieces of Bach and get some cigarettes. So I walked down to the mall and played my violin for a bit, and went off, bought my cigarettes and had a few puffs. And not that I advocate smoking, you know. You know, it's not a good addiction at all for any of us. But however, I went off and had my cigarette, and I was walking down the mall, and there was this young man playing guitar most beautifully. It really, really was beautiful. A young man by the name of Jeffrey H. And I walked up to him and said, can I play a couple of tunes with you? You know, and he said, yeah, sure. He had a little amplifier, and I plugged my violin in, and we played a couple of tunes, and he went, wow, that was amazing, you know, can we play a few more tunes? So we played a few more tunes, and by the end of the afternoon we planned out the next 3 years. Quite amazing when you consider, if you asked me at 9 o'clock that morning, Malcolm, what are your options for things you want to do in the rest of your life? At that point, for very other many reasons, music wouldn't have actually even been on the list, and yet here I was, later on the same day, with tremendous excitement, planning out years to come. It was, what a magical day. I was back on my purpose.
I love the way you dream. I love the way you dream. And I love the way you dream. One for you, one for me, one for you, one for me, one for you. Yeah.